How to keep it cool during the pandemic? Richard Nixon said, I can take it. The tougher it gets, the cooler I get. Imagine if this was our attitude towards the pandemic. A cool person is not always worried, always freaking out, always running around saying the sky is falling. The sky is not falling, even if we are in the middle of a pandemic. Chill out. Life can be tough. It can be grueling and mean, but life is mostly a mental game. And if you have a mentality of a worrywart, you're going to be stressing more than you need to be during this pandemic. Biblical advice is do not let your heart be troubled or mind be afraid. And that's the same advice I have for being cool and surviving this pandemic. All that stressing about the virus is going to make your life miserable and those around you miserable. Not to mention, stress makes your face look ugly and is hazardous to your health. Almost as many people, if not more people, have committed suicide this year than have died from the coronavirus. That is mental worry taking over their lives. When we're always worried, always assuming the worst, we're inviting unfortunate events into our reality because it is what we expect. The secret of life is what we expect to happen will happen. If we are broke and we dwell in our poverty, we will probably prolong the struggle. The best way out of poverty is to realize being broke is a temporary situation. Saying we live in poverty alone gives our temporary brokenness too much control and power. If you are going through an eviction right now, I suggest you find a way to keep your cool and get it together. Instead of thinking I live in poverty, I live in this car, it's better to think when I finish my book I'll have enough money to do anything I want, or I can't wait to start a new job, or money else on the way because the universe is full of abundance and it wants me to be financially secure. Being worried about your situation will actually create more problems in your life than being relaxed because a worried person cannot see clearly. A worried person makes a mountain out of a molehill. And even if it seems like your molehill is a mountain, a lot of people are experiencing the same things you are, which means there's a lot of support around you and understanding. A worried person acts in such an erratic manner that they may make things worse for themselves, which is often why when we are freaking out, the feedback we get is just calm down. That's right, man, just calm down. It's in your own best interest to calm down. When you start to imagine everything is bad and getting worse, your perspective shifts to desperation, and this creates pessimism. When you create too much pessimism in your thoughts, you become anxious, suicidal, and depressed. When we become suicidal and depressed, we become destructive, uncaring, and reckless. This combination of attitudes makes you dangerous to yourself and society. When you see the glass as half empty instead of half full, your friends become your enemies and your opportunities become your prisons. When anxiety gets the best of you, it's impossible to think clearly or rationally, and you start to behave erratically. Once you begin having racing thoughts, it's hard to sleep and easy to panic. Your behavior is going to be abnormal if you panic. You cannot live life like you're in an emergency. Even if you are in an emergency, it's best to keep a level head. Anxiety makes disastrous life events much worse because you start to imagine the worst, and this thinking thrusts you into a dark pattern of negative thinking and acting hysterical, which only digs you further into the ground. If you want to dig your own grave faster during this pandemic, be overcome with anxiety instead of managing it. There are ways to manage anxiety: going for a walk, talking with a friend, turning on a movie, reading 12 Rules of Keeping It Cool by Leon More Brave. This is why people preach of the wonders of meditation. It hushes the mind. Usually things look much better in the morning simply because sleep reduces our anxieties about situations. When you are worried, you're coming from a place of fear. Sometimes you have good reason to fear, but most of the time it's paranoia getting the best of you. Humans have powerful imaginations. Most of the things that keep you up at night never happen in the real world. Just your head. For this reason, it's a waste of time to worry. It's not productive. If you did have a crisis to solve, freaking out is not going to help. Being calm and cool under pressure is the difference between being strong and weak. The truth is, whatever you have to face, even if it's cancer, a divorce, or going to jail this pandemic, you have to face it. You cannot escape it. Your actions have consequences. Poor health is a result of neglecting your health. A failing marriage is the result of mistreating your marriage partner in some way. Infidelity, neglect, rudeness, going to jail is a result of violating the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You may not feel the situations you are in are fair, but it's likely the results of your own actions. Acceptance is crucial to moving forward in a positive direction. Taking personal responsibility is powerful. Your actions have consequences. In regards to the global pandemic, it may be that our collective actions have consequences, that how humans have been living the last century have consequences. So now we are experiencing this pandemic. Together, we are in a crisis. Anyways, acceptance of the situation is crucial to moving forward in a positive direction. A cool person remembers life never gives them more than they can handle. If your challenges are harder than others, that's because you can take a bigger punch. In Matthew 6:27, it says, "Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life?" Worrying doesn't add time, it steals valuable time from you. When you spend days, weeks, even months worrying, you stop living life to the fullest and become paralyzed with worry. You're not behaving as a powerful and beautiful creature. When you are hauled up in the house stressing and bickering, it's not enlightened to worry. Worry is a parasite of the mind. It will feed on your soul and steal your joy. Stop worrying as much as possible during this pandemic. You have enough challenges ahead of you, besides combating your own mind. As said guru says, your thoughts are not that important, so don't let your thoughts destroy you.